happy now. So let me just tell you guys.
Are we on?
We are officially on, and guess what? We have sunshine here
And who
today.
are we?
What? Excuse me.
Who are we?
Do you not? Hi, are you okay? As my brother would say. No, I'm only kidding. We are Melanie Calamere. This is my partner, husband, better half, Jesse Valadares. We are Team Bona Fide at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Laffey International Realty, and we are in our Woodbury office filming the segment of Everything Long Island. But it's not Long Island, it's Long Island.
She finally got it, guys.
I did. It only took me 500 episodes?
Hey.
Listen, I suffer from ADHD, so there's a lot of things going on in my head at the same time. So you'll just have to
She's just like, I gotta get Berkshire in for Emmy because I don't want to hear it.
I don't want him to kill me.
And I'm gonna forget the name of our podcast.
See, it says Berkshire Hathaway right there. See, Emmett? We're good. No, I love
it. It says
Emmett.
Everything Long Island.
That's right, with Everything Bagels.
In bigger letters.
And those, by the way, are the Roslyn Bagel Boss bagels.
They are, actually.
Because those are the best Everything Bagels, and there's no salt in them. Anyway, we are here today with Tori Cohen, who is Executive Director of LIAD, which is Long Island Alzheimer's and Dementia Center. So we are here. As you know, we love visionaries that are here on Long Island. We have many of them because Long Island is made up of the most brilliant, interesting, wonderful people that are just game changers. And Tori is changing lives every day with her passion, and she's an incredible leader and just incredible person that gives a crap about are people on Long Island that have Alzheimer's and dementia. So welcome. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I really do feel special being on your show, and I would, love to be able to share with people that are listening about the services and what we are doing to help people on Long Island.
You know what? There are so many people that are affected by Alzheimer's and dementia that it's awful. It's just to watch someone who was so vibrant turn into something so opposite of what they were. Whether it's someone that was very reserved that's now very loud, or someone that was very loud that's now very quiet, or someone that was very mature turned into an infant. It's so heart-wrenching for families to have to go through this, and the caregivers, what they have to go through, it's just as bad. I mean, it's just heart-wrenching. So thank you for everything that you do.
The work you do is so important.
It's so important.
Families need so much of the support. Thank God for you guys.
No, and I appreciate that you said also, like you said, the caregivers, because that's one thing with our organization that, yes, we have a focus on helping people that have the dementia with our programs and services, but we really are looking at the caregiver and knowing how much wear and tear they have emotionally, physically, going through this whole journey.
Financially, everything.
Financially, exactly, everything.
Psychologically, it's everything.
No, it's a big deal. I mean, we were speaking before we came on air, Tori and I, and I had that in our family. We had to deal with someone that we really loved, who had dementia, and just, this is someone I knew for 30 years, and wow, to see, how things went for her, and the family, how the family was coping or not coping with it, and the emotional struggles. And you're right, there's a big financial aspect to it because you need so much help, you need so many assistants.
Physical piece, lifting,
it's just
changing.
So much, and it's just so draining. So the fact that you're a resource for families, it's priceless. It really is.
It really is. It really is.
No, I feel like it's so important to take care of the caregiver because there is such a huge burnout, and so many times when people come to the organization, they are worried about their loved one, they're worried about what's going to, be the next steps, passing resources, passing support, but they're never really looking at themselves in the mirror and realizing what they need. And that's what we always say, if you're not going to take care of yourself, then who's going to be there for your loved one at the end too? And that's a
It's like the
huge-
airplane when they say take that,
That's
Yeah.
right.
you know, the oxygen mask.
So-
You can't put it on your child. You have to put it on you. My dad passed away from ALS. So
Right.
I had to watch my mother be a caregiver. And it was, you know, it was really, you know, it was heart-wrenching. It's like you look at dad, it's heart-wrenching. You look at mom, it's heart-wrenching. It was just so in a different way, but the same kind of intensity of loss and profound sadness and insanity watching surreal things going on it's a lot. My mother would always say, if I got through yesterday, I'll get through today. She said, I look back instead of looking forward, because she felt like you know, that was so hard and today's really hard, but if I made it through that, I can do this today. It was very
Wow.
interesting.
It's like a definite different mindset, and that's what happens a lot of times too, about how people had acted, behaved throughout their life, and then you get touched by something like this and you need to almost change your whole idea of what is, like you say, what's in the future, what is right now, and how do I live my life that way. Because I feel like with this disease right now, we were talking about that too, there is no cure right now. I mean, we know that there's some medications out there, we know there are a lot of things happening, but it still doesn't cure the disease. It might, you know, stabilize it. It might, like we say, in a couple months, someone may change, they may not change, they may have it. I've had people that I've known that have had it for 15, 16 years, but you want to be able to provide hope and support for these families
Sure.
while they're waiting, you know, for something to happen. And it's a scary feeling to say, well, what do you think and how long do you think this is, you know, going to last? We don't know. If we knew, then we would have a cure. And I always say I'd rather not be in this business anymore. I'd rather be doing something else than if we knew that there was going to be an end.
Right.
Absolutely, no, I get that for sure. Now, I'm really curious because, I mean, I wish I knew about LIAD and all your resources when we were dealing with this as a family. What kind of programs do you have? What do you offer folks? Because I had no idea, but, you know, I really would, I think everyone would want to know, you know, what you have to offer. What other resources?
Absolutely. Well, you're not the only one that says it. We always are saying, I'm glad to go on shows like this and talk about it. People need to be aware, because if I hear it all the time, I didn't know that this existed. I wish I knew, and I want to get ourselves to a point where people are like, I know you exist.
Right, and you're
Right.
the first call because
Right.
they know.
Right. So, I mean, in a sense, we are a grassroots organization that's located in Westbury. We have a center there on Old Country Road, and at our center we have a few different programs. One of them being, one of our major programs is a day program where people, like when they drop kids off, they're dropping their loved ones off to us for 5 hours a day. We do have transportation, and they're getting therapies, pet therapy,
Wow.
art therapy, music therapy. They're
Love it.
very busy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we definitely try to tailor what people like, so it's not just, we know that he likes drawing. Well, then we're going to try to figure out things that you know can do with drawing, but also maybe in 2 weeks you may not even like drawing. We want, you know, and you don't want to just push people. It's when people are in an environment that they're around others. My feeling is, especially with this disease, it's important to have socialization. We always say
definitely.
socialization, so you can be nonverbal or verbal, but you're getting something being there. So we have this day program that we help people, 5 hours transportation. We also have a program at home that
Wow.
we send our employees into the home so we can do one-on-one too.
That's
so
great.
you might, you know, be a caregiver that you just can't get out, or you think your loved one may do better at home. So we go, and then you can get a rest.
I was just going to say 5 hours, you know?
Yep, you can get.
You can take a nap. You could sleep uninterrupted.
You don't realize, like, even 1 hour of time without worrying about your loved one can be like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Because we take it for granted because you don't know. So it's like when someone's like, I can do 15 errands in an hour.
No,
It's
it's huge. And not only that, you know they're safe.
Yeah.
Okay, and I gotta tell you, from my own experience, I mean, we would have like aides, come over to her house and look after her. But I have to tell you, it was awful. I mean, we set up wireless cameras in the house. We would take turns, different family members watching, and they wouldn't feel like they'd sit her in a corner. The aide would watch TV, ignore her, and not even feed her. And it was such a difficult thing that if we would have known that we had somewhere where she would be safe, we could drop her off and kind of rotate our schedules with her and know that she's in an environment that's going to support her and give her what she needs, it would have changed everything for us.
Yeah.
It really would have.
But I appreciate you saying that, because there is times where there's aides that it's appropriate to, have someone around. But I always say, if you could be coming to our center, and we always say like age in place, like keeping your loved one in the community but not at home. So coming to us, and everyone always says, I listened to a caregiver the other day actually do a video for us. So, when I walked in, I felt like it was my family. So I feel like this is just my extended family with their staff. So when I do drop them off, I don't look back unless I, get a call or I need to come. And that's a reassuring feeling for someone to know, okay, I know for this period of time everything's going to be okay. Because I think you might have said this before. It's really, people say we have 24 hours, in a day. They really say it's 36 hours with someone with, Alzheimer's and dementia.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just nonstop. You gotta always have, as the disease is progressing, I feel like eyes in every place,
Yeah.
which is exhausting.
It is.
Because someone may not sleep, they may be up. One thing that's also important that I was going to say about services is resources. Someone needs a neurologist. Yeah, that someone needs improvements to their house. Someone they need physical therapy. We have a whole resource manual, give out information all the time. We have a lot of support groups for the caregivers.
Thank God.
Yep.
Thank God.
Right, by our social workers running them, because it could be emotional conversations, it could be advice conversations, but especially to this generation, we have a lot of people in the sandwich generation, which we always say we're taking care of our kids or we're taking care of our parents. And people are like, I don't know what to do. I'm working full time, and what am I going to do? How do I handle this? It's really, really important to feel like there's someone that's going to listen to them.
Definitely.
And we know that sometimes with families that you could be talking to your family about it, but you're almost worried about the next thing you want to say. You want to be able to talk to a stranger and be like, listen, I didn't sign up for this, or, because listen, people have to be on. I love them. I don't even know what to do. You don't have a rule book. You don't know everything every time.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
And things change.
And it's okay to feel that way.
Absolutely. And that's why I say, be honest.
Yeah.
Because if you don't let out, like we always say, I always think that when people are so stressed and pressured and you have all that inside, I do think it eats away at you. And I think it's really, I don't want to say it's a cancer, but I feel like it's a cancer for you.
Well, but if you think about it, even, it's interesting, but, when you read about people in relationships with people, like, for example, narcissists, the spouse of that person gets all these diseases because they're bottling up all these emotions and you're constantly in fight or flight mode. And that's essentially what's happening to these caregivers because they're in that fight or flight mode. They have to always be ready. Something's always coming at them.
Worried.
So they're always worried. So, and a lot of people that are trying to be strong, that means that they're internalizing it that much more. So they're making themselves sicker and sicker. It's like a losing battle. It's
Absolutely.
it's awful. It's
Yes.
awful. So how can we support you? That's so critical.
Well, right, because all of these programs and you have your location, your
Everything
facility,
costs money.
Costs money, of course.
Well, I appreciate you saying that because it's the point I think you said before. It is an expensive disease. I mean, a lot of things are expensive, but we know if it's, regardless of even coming to our programs and services, it's the medicines. It's someone might not even be able to have their job anymore because of it. But for us, it's fundraising. That's a way that we have a lot of events with our organization that we like to bring in people that have connections to the disease. Also, people just wanting to make a difference, be philanthropic. Every I always say every dollar goes to our programs and services. So when someone like jokes, they're like, here's $10. $10 goes to food that we get. We provide lunch in our day program. That might be for the lunch for the day for someone. So the fact is that when we typically have a lot on our website, which I can say our website, lidementia.org.
Please.
You can learn, like, besides learn a lot about the fundraising stuff, just learn a lot of information that someone may want to know, which, you know, for another time, because sometimes people think with dementia that it's always about the memory. There's so much more to dementia than just memory. It's behaviors too. It's LIAD.
Yeah.
But our fundraisers on it supports us. It helps us. People can pay for our programs and services. A lot of people can't. So we, you know, reach out a lot with grants and foundations and try and get money for specific programs that we do. Our music program that we have at LIAD every day. You have someone come in, it's their job. We have to pay them every day. We have someone that is a donor that pays for it for the whole year.
That's
So
so
those,
nice.
and we know music is such a great thing. I mean, to watch people smile and be happy is what we want.
And not just that, but with music, there's a lot of memory that's involved in
There
this.
is,
You know,
Right, you're so right on it.
You know, even just people without dementia or Alzheimer's, when you hear a song, it can bring back where you were in your life at that having a moment
it does
in that
trigger
life.
something.
It
Yes.
does. So it's got to be very interesting.
Well, it's true because sometimes, like I always say, oh, it's a great thing. Sometimes it triggers very sad memories.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to be prepared for that too. Like we always say, when someone comes into the organization, we do a thorough assessment so we know exactly things that they liked before, and it might have changed, so we know what to possibly anticipate.
Triggers.
Yes, we want to know if it's Melanie. Like, what does Melanie really like, and will that make her upset or will that make her happy? But we try things because we want to be able to keep you going. We always say just because someone got a diagnosis does not mean their life is over. We have a lot of families call us a lot saying, after we saw the doctor, we don't know what else to do. And it's like, well, there is more to do. And that's why I say I want someone to think just because you have this disease that you can't help yourself and something can't be beneficial. There are a lot of things that can be beneficial.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
And you guys serve the entire island, not I know you're based out of Nassau.
So we are based out of Nassau. A lot of our population does come from Nassau, but we have people from Suffolk, and we do a lot of virtual because we also do counseling services, which we know mental health is a big issue. It happened with COVID. So we don't just service people with Alzheimer's and dementia either. We will help people that have other types of mental health issues. We can go on virtual platforms now, right? So we can talk to someone randomly in California if we needed to. Anyone can talk to us virtually if they need us, even on the island if it was in the Hamptons or in another state. They just, may not be able to use our programs that are in the center that way.
You came up. We went to a house that we previewed for, we were going on a listing appointment. So we were looking at houses that were on the market in the area, and the person that had their house on the market was telling us that they were moving.
Yeah.
And it's because she is moving her adult children, and they're leaving Suffolk because she wants to move to Brooklyn because her mother, I believe it was,
Yes, it is.
has dementia, and she needs to start helping. And I said, well, do you know about any
Right.
kind of services that could help you? And that she goes, I didn't know anything like that existed.
We told her
and
about
we
it.
told her about you, and we said, call up, LIAD and see.
This was
Maybe
just
they're
2
going to be
weeks
able to,
ago.
maybe they're going to be able to refer you to someone that could help you in Brooklyn. I said, but there's kind of like babysitting day classes and other things and support for, you as the caregiver and that. And she said, oh my goodness, I didn't even know that existed. She was, it's,
But I love that because, but that's like when you just said going back to what can you do, but that's just, it seems so small, but a big thing to do because
It's huge.
You're being an ambassador for us because you know that there are services and programs. And again, it's us giving the information to them. Like if they're in Brooklyn, yes, they're not going to be able to come to Westbury, but advice, resources, support, what's the next
Yeah.
step? People don't, realize, like we say too, financially, all the steps that people have to do, like you need to talk to an attorney, you may, these decisions of living wills and healthcare, all that stuff, it's so overwhelming for someone that you can't just drop it on the first day.
No, and why I started thinking about it, because she's literally uprooting her entire life. She's selling her property. She has children. She's selling the property, moving the children and everything to Brooklyn to care for her mom. But now that we told her this, maybe she doesn't have to go to Brooklyn. Maybe the idea could be, hey, let's live in Nassau, and now you know, me and my kids, we can rotate and drop off mom, and you know, if you don't know these things, if you can't even plan your life properly.
Yeah, and that's, you know what, it's very funny because, you know, senior living services, it's another one. It's like until people get to that point of desperation, when that line, that imaginary line gets crossed, and they're like, I need help, they don't reach out. So you can't set up things and put things in place because the shit has hit the fan, and like it's dropping down, and you know, it's like, what are you gonna do now? So it's one of those things. It's so interesting that I think everyone likes to be in denial and just, you know, swipe away on their phone and just pretend everything is okay, and you have to know, when you're looking at that phone, you're looking at fake lives. These people, everybody's got something. Everybody's got something.
You're so...
It's just...
Wait, but you're so right, because the fact is, again, people don't know what they don't know, and they don't want to also know.
They don't want to know.
And I always say I'd rather be proactive than reactive. So regardless of information, I want everyone to know, so they know what to expect, because when things get harder in anyone's lives, you get more emotional when things are happening and you're not looking at it the same way. And I think that's super important, because like we say, denial is a big thing, and people almost have to go through like certain stages to get to where they need to be. And it was interesting, we had an event on Monday, and someone introduced me to this this man, and he goes, I was coming to your event just to be supportive. When someone told me, whatever it was, a couple weeks ago, he's like, my dad just randomly went to the doctor and he got diagnosed 2 days ago with dementia.
Oh my
So he's
God.
like, I didn't know,
So now
you know what I mean, right? Like, I didn't know.
He couldn't relate to it. It was like out in the universe.
Exactly.
And now it's like suddenly hit home.
Like, I was here like thinking I was just gonna have a good time for maybe a cause that is, you know, important, but now it's my cause. Right. It was really interesting, because I'm like, wow, okay, well, you are in the right place, and you know, this is how we're going to be able to help you, because all we want to do, our mission, you know, is, we always say, to improve the quality of life for people with dementia and their caregivers. That is what we want to do. If there's any way we can do it, if it's just like we say, resources, counseling, the programs, however it is why we're here.
And how lucky is it for that gentleman that he's so giving and so charitable, that in doing a good thing for others, 2 days later he figured out it's going to help him. What a blessing.
Unreal.
You know,
that's very true.
It's incredible. You know.
Yes. It's also, unfortunately, I was talking about this before too, so prevalent in Long Island, even compared to all of New York State. And one thing I say all the time, my phone does not stop ringing. I mean, I am attached to my phone, and it's always hard for me to say no to someone and not answer it. Closest friends to me, introduce me to other people. There's so many people in my life that have been affected by this disease, so it makes me feel even more passionate about it. I said, I can't be any other person than care. So when I don't care, like I said, I can't do this job anymore, but I want people to know, like we say, what's out there, so they're not making decisions, like you say, about a house. Like, maybe you're right. Maybe this situation you said about this family, maybe they won't do that now.
Right.
But how are they supposed to know? It's not, like I say again, this idea of, here's everything you need to know about, you know, having someone dementia, and more, they just don't want to look for it.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Well, what's interesting is, you know, being in real estate and being in construction and contracting, you know, we're touched by people that need financial solutions. Sometimes it's, oh, well, we need to sell the house to put mom into assisted living or memory care, whatever it is. But then what we like to do is say, well, but have you spoken to someone, because maybe you can use that money as a vehicle and use that, and then you speak to the person, the right financial people to put together a plan.
Absolutely.
So that way, that money doesn't just dwindle. But sometimes when you're so close to the situation, you can't see it. You need someone to step back and say, you know what, really, you need to kind of see this from a 180. You need to understand all the different, this way, that, and really,
get a 360.
360, yeah.
You guys are doing such amazing things because you are involved for those periods of time, like you say, in people's lives. And now I'm it's kind of hitting me how much you learn, how much you do learn, and how much you want to help and make things better and easier.
More than you know.
So
You'd be very
more than you know.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
It's unreal.
I'll give you a quick example. I have a client that I've been working with for 6 years, and she was just away. Her husband recently passed.
Wait till you hear this, yeah.
She was away on a cruise. Mm-hmm. She falls the last day of the cruise, breaks her hip. Now, she's a New Yorker, and she has to have hip replacement surgery in Florida, right off the ship.
In Miami, where they docked.
They take her, but she doesn't have a lot of help. Who did you think she called? She called me.
So guess who's her son
and
on the phone with the hospital
as her son, trying to get her all the help she needs, getting updated by the doctors because no one would give it. No, we get so involved with the people that we work with that. Yeah, things like this we end up having to do.
Yeah.
But that's incredible, though.
Yeah,
that's
crazy things. Yeah,
it's just
not like I say. Not everyone is definitely going to be like you two. So that's pretty amazing. It's well, you got to know what you're going to be getting when you're working with them. You're going to get a whole package.
Oh, it's even funnier. So we're working with someone that is in senior living, and they say to us, we need help. We need to figure out how to get people the money to be able to have the rent, to be able to move in before they sell their place. And we look around and we find a program.
Yeah, we figured out something.
We figured it out. So now we have a partnership with our contracting company. Okay. You call, and it's just and someone, even a senior, can call. You walk through it over the phone. You pay under $500 for the application fee, 680 credit score, decent amount of equity in your home. And you get up to $50,000 that you don't pay until closing, that you could put towards 4 months of living at senior living, moving costs.
We're always trying to find solutions.
It's like,
for folks.
If we're not going to find these solutions, who's going to? It's not just can I have your listing? Can I sell you?
No. We're more really almost life consultants at this point. We're always advising.
Yes.
You need an attorney. Wait, I know a good attorney. Do you need a good financial person? I can take care of that.
Yeah. That's why we could be a good trio.
It's so
right?
funny how we
telling
end up very involved in everyone's lives.
Yes.
Even a friend of ours whose father just recently passed, but he called, Mom can't make it to the basement anymore. We're thinking of taking apart the bathroom to put, a washer dryer up there and take out the jacuzzi. And I go, what's on the other side of the wall? He goes, a closet. I go, put the water in the closet.
The washer dryer.
The washer dryer setup.
Why take the whole thing
Why
apart?
take the bathroom on the other side?
But we wouldn't have known unless
So we're it's.
Yeah. Well, you're not only giving resources, you have that creative side of you too. To I don't know. I wouldn't have even thought that from the conversation.
But also,
that can make sense.
You guys are doing. You're giving all of these solutions and all of this advice.
That's what we're supposed to do, right?
That people wouldn't know.
Yes.
So it's really
what they wouldn't know and what they just can't
visualize,
comprehend.
Or they're too stressed.
Yes.
It's so vital.
And to make it cost effective and not look at it as, we can gouge these people.
Right.
You know, it's not
Yes.
about that.
Oh.
It's not. This is, you know, we just want to do a good job and sleep at night and feel good.
Yes.
You know?
Oh my
Help
goodness.
people.
Yep.
Just like you.
Yep.
He's a former police officer. I'm a former teacher. Those things don't leave. They don't leave you.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I think that's
It's just who you are.
Super important. Yeah, it's interesting when you say that too, because there was pretty recently, I think in the last year, we did a lot of education for the police academy. It's because again, we always say people are going to be running into people all the time that have dementia
Sure.
and they might know it. And how do you talk to them? How do you approach them out on the street? You know, no. It happened with one of our participants and a police officer. They just didn't know what the person was doing. They didn't know at first that they were connected to us. They were not answering it. Probably they thought they were not being compliant. You know,
Right.
No, when you start to ask some of these things, and you might then realize it's
You
mental.
put it together.
Yes.
Yeah, you're teaching them how to put it together.
Yes, because it's like we don't know. It could be a lot of people that, you know, I know when I'm driving all the time, and if I see someone walking over, I'm like, wait a minute.
I was just saying that today.
Yeah, she
Oh,
was saying that.
see, I feel like I want to help her. I'm like, oh, wait, that seems a little weird.
No,
Let me go help them.
I
grab
just
them.
had that today. I came here today to the
On the way
parking
over,
lot,
she called me.
and there's like a teenage boy walking on Jericho Turnpike, and he's toe walking, and his arms are, and being an educator, his backpack has a name tag on it, and I go, Jesse, this kid could be like autistic, and he may have like left somewhere. Should I ask him if he's okay? You know, like, you know what I mean? Like I didn't
Just look, you're looking because you're looking with different eyes than most people would. Because it's like it's a caring part. Because you're just like, how do I think I can help that person? Yes,
And it's all like what you know. It's those indicators: the toe walking, the flapping, the name tag, the backpack, the way he's looking around, the way he moves. I just, and he was like, "Mommy, leave the kid alone. I'm sure he's okay." But you know, you can't help yourself,
I
right?
can't. No, that's why I said I'm like, and because you also, when you see things, you want to be able to also, with this disease, like I say, try to react sooner, because if at this point, if someone does have even earlier signs of this disease, we want to try to at least get some medication in them.
Stop it in its tracks.
It's also good to know what, you know, almost like diagnosing it. What are the signs? You know what I mean?
I
think that's very important. I mean, we know that for strokes. We know that for heart attacks. I think for this is very important.
Well, it's interesting too when you say that, because if I would say, like, what are some signs I would look for, especially, let's just say, even when someone's of age that they're still working, a lot of times I feel like things don't get diagnosed for a period of time because they're like, oh, it's just their personality changing. Like they are, like when you said before, sometimes someone can be sweet and kind and then turn it to be like angry and aggressive. So someone a lot of times is like, oh, is that just their personality and something else is changing and we're gonna let it go, but they've become a different person? No, like to me, really drastic changes like that do need to be looked at.
That's major.
Right, so it's like, that's why I always say it's not just because I forgot your name, you know, like a lot of times people always like to do a little joke, oh, I forgot, and that's what it is. I said, no, it's not just, I forgot where my car is, I forgot where this is, I forgot the name, because we all are stressed.
We all forget things.
Yes,
it's normal.
I always say it's one of the truer signs too is, yes, I went to the grocery store, forgot where my car was. We all could. I could go there 500 times and park it in 17 different spots. It's when I get to my car, do I realize that, like, am I going to use my key to get in? What am I doing next? Like, I'm going into my refrigerator and putting my milk in, or am I putting my milk in, you know, the cabinet? It's the judgment, it's perception, it's like we say, the idea of, even when we're driving, when you start to almost forget, am I pressing the gas? Am I pressing, you know, the brake? Like things like, there's so many different signs that are concerning, and I think it's when someone is changing and just don't look at it, oh yeah, it seems a little weird, but that's okay. They're getting older and they're doing this, because I know people that are in their 90s and they're able to do that.
Oh, super sharp.
Right, super sharp. So it's I feel like we say about the judgment, the perception, the impairment, the memory, it all sort of comes together, and it's always, I always suggest, so go to the doctor, because it could be vitamin deficiency, it could be, unfortunately, sometimes we've had, even in our center, people that have had a tumor that, is caused, so it's like the tumor is causing it, it's not,
Right, it's causing pressure in a specific area.
yes,
that's
that all of a
causing
sudden
some
they can't
changes.
think.
Right.
Yes, so
But,
it's,
but there are cognitive tests.
there's
to kind of
cognitive, yes.
figure it out.
Because the next step after that is when they go to the doctor, then the doctor may want to do a PET scan or a CAT scan and really be able to look at the brain and see if there's shrinkage, and see what then the next step after that is. Because we had someone bring their children in the other day to just experience it, so they're off and hang out with what we call our participants. And the daughter had asked, she's like, well, how do you know, if someone has Alzheimer's and if, they pass away, how do you know, that it's truly that? I'm like, well, when someone passes away, you could do a brain autopsy to really know and identify if it's 100%
Sure.
Alzheimer's or dementia. A lot of times we know pretty much and have like a huge percentage that it's going to be, but we don't know exactly until we then do an autopsy and look at the brain.
Now, you know what I want to ask? You had mentioned earlier that Long Island is more prevalent for dementia than other parts of New York, or maybe the entire state. Is there any research of why that may be?
It's interesting because I feel like there's not something to me specific on really why. The reason why I think is because there are a lot more people going to doctors. I think in a lot of these more rural, right? Think about like rural
So
places.
they're just
Identifying it more.
Okay.
Identifying it more. And I think we would probably have even higher statistics if, again, when a lot of times when people pass, they don't always say they passed from Alzheimer's. Some of them do, but some will be like, oh, it's a heart attack or it's a stroke or pneumonia. The brain is the biggest muscle in your body and it controls everything. So as it progresses, it's gonna make it harder for your heart to pump. It's gonna make it hard. So it's interesting though that people don't want to almost say that in the end, and that ruins the statistics.
But it's still the denial part.
It's absolutely.
Because, there's that negative, associate, oh, he died of Alzheimer's.
Right.
They don't want that associate. No, he died of old age. Like, people are in denial. Listen, I know someone like, that had cancer in a horrible area and didn't divulge it to their family because they were embarrassed about it. I mean,
Yeah, I don't get
how do you do things?
It's
It's all
freaking
that
cancer.
bullshit,
Why is it
but
your fault?
it's that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Well, but
That's
you're
what I'm
right.
saying.
Because stigma, exactly, and which is what is very hard. Which is why anyone like you guys, it's easier to push someone to call because I think that first phone call is the hardest.
Yes.
Because, like you said, it's the step of I'm calling because my loved one has dementia. It's like you're finally admitting it. Or a person that does have actually their own signs and calling, like, I think I'm worried about myself, and what do you think I should do next?
It's probably like the
That's
first
gotta be
time
so
going to
scary,
AA.
first.
It's probably got to be the same thing,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Like facing, you know.
Facing it head on because it's the reality. And then when you, like we all know, when you are in the reality is then dealing with the problem, like you say, and we want to be solution based,
Sure.
right? We want to be able to give everything that we can. So it's that part's painful because you're always like, one of my friends introduced me to someone else and they're like, please help them. I'm like, I can, I just need them to call, like, what am I going to do? How can I drag them? Or please call me. Don't be ashamed. And don't say like, oh, well, I just want you to know my mom was super smart. My mom did know how to go to the bathroom. We know that. That's why we're hearing it. But it's so painful for them to explain that and discuss it. It's not an easy topic. And a lot of people's cultures, it's not easy to talk about.
Of course.
No.
So that's where a lot of, people shy away and don't reach out.
So what's the one thing you really, really, really want people to know out there?
I want people to know that they're not alone. I want people to know that, yes, it still can be a very stigmatizing disease, but that shouldn't, they shouldn't be ashamed and they should be able to call. And We're here, we always say, to, provide guidance, hope, and support. That's what we're here to do. And we're here, as I said earlier, to be proactive in this disease instead of reactive. We don't want to hear situations where people are calling us in complete panic mode and say, I don't know what to do next.
Exactly.
When we want them to be like, I always say empowered.
Yes.
Empowered with the tools to get them through that. So that's where, to me, is the most important.
Absolutely.
And that's why we're here. So.
And by the way, there should be no damn stigma.
There should be no stigma in anything.
If you think you're starting to go through this, you shouldn't be ashamed.
No.
Get help. There's a lot of resources, and it's the best thing for you. And for family members, shouldn't feel stigmatized or embarrassed.
It's very interesting.
It's his life, and you know what? We need to just help each other.
But it's kind of like, being a survivor of colon cancer, which I am, stage 3 colon cancer, And a lot of people I've spoken to in the past are like, I don't want to get a colonoscopy. And I'm going, okay, so you just prep for a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you go under, they tell you you're clean, or they get it out, whatever. But for me, it was, I had it at 32. I had 2 cancerous polyps at 32, and then I was monitored. Then at 51, I got it again, but this time stage 3 because it was COVID and everything, whatever. So it was in my, but should I have waited 3 years? Probably not, but do people get cancerous polyps in 3 years? No, not normally. I have a genetic disease, which is why I got it. But the whole point is that, it's like, no, should you be embarrassed by it? And being in denial and not getting the test, imagine if I was in denial and I didn't want to get it.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know how much harder it is to get the sectioning, the chemo, then getting off chemo and getting back. When all you'd have to do is not eat for a day, get put under, and go home. Like, what to you sounds better? Like, which one sounds...
Of course.
Duh.
Yeah.
Like, hello, hi.
Exactly.
Wake up.
But that's why you're sitting here telling this story and saying how important it is, and it's so true because there still will be people that hear
won't
that.
do.
Yes,
And
because
they'll be like, nah.
I almost know the people. Like there's people that I know that still say they don't do that, and it's like I knew like my brother had been young and he had gotten polyps like really young. Like I started getting colonoscopy so early because I'm like I don't know what that means next.
Sure.
So it didn't matter. I was like 30, 32. I have to just keep doing it. But it's so people just still like you say it's getting them through that. Being ashamed or denial and knowing what would you rather have, and if there's a place that we know that it could be cured and that you're going to be okay.
But that's the whole thing with Alzheimer's dementia.
Yep.
So if you think it might be happening and you start the medication,
It's gonna
holy crap.
Absolutely.
I mean, how lucky are you?
Absolutely.
Same thing as doing the colonoscopy.
Or maybe it even if it doesn't cure, but it slows
it the freak
there's
down.
No cure,
Right.
But at least you can slow it down.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You can learn certain skills to cope. And,
Right.
I mean, there's a lot.
But that's the whole point. It's really
Yep.
early detection with anything and everything, you know?
Right.
It just is.
And if we have people and we have those resources, why wouldn't you use them?
Why wouldn't you?
Right.
It's just ridiculous.
Which I think is the goal of, the whole entire thing of people just knowing that reach out, like stop hesitating, stop waiting and thinking it's the biggest deal where you're going to feel so much better knowing
And
that
how
right
nice is it to know that someone else has the same woes and
Yes.
maybe they know of this great caregiver or this agency or this person that doesn't need this one or this way of doing this worked for them and it could be a godsend. I always find that that's why I love, it's like, if you want to get a colonoscopy or you're afraid, or I always want someone to talk to me. Always.
Yes.
Like, talk to me. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed. Like, I want to help. Like, how can I help? I want to help.
Which I love because that's exactly what it is. It's hearing and knowing how you can be helped by this. And with us, it's the idea of when people are sitting in support groups and they're like, I couldn't get my loved one in the shower, regardless before they had even an aid in the house. and someone's like, oh, I'll tell you, this is what I did.
Right.
And then they may be like, it might work for 3 days, it might work for 3 weeks, 3 months, but I'm sharing this with you so you don't feel that way.
Exactly.
Yeah. But no one, my last thing that it makes me think of is I was talking to someone the other day and they were telling me that their loved one was starting to smell a little bit. They didn't know what was going on, and they're like, but they're going in the shower. And I said, well, right. I said, but
is he using soap?
Absolutely not. Exactly. Like, are they?
Yeah.
Well, in your head, like, of course they're using soap. No. You need to watch them because the soap might be sitting there. They're not looking at it as soap anymore. It's not like, this is my routine. This is what I did. It's forgotten. So it's like that's where you're gonna maybe need to go in there and help them. And if you are embarrassed, that someone can go in there and help them with it. But they're not washing themselves. They're going and putting water on themselves and walking out. So I'm like, it's that different idea.
It's that
Disconnect, and the idea of we're there to help, to say you gotta think about it that way. Just like with someone saying, I know it's 3:00 and we know it's 3:00. We'll look at our watch, but they're not looking at the watch the same way anymore when they have this disease.
Yeah.
It looks totally different to them.
So how can people they can donate on your website, I'm assuming?
Yes.
And also, I guess right on your website, there's fundraisers that they can be a part of, which is another great way to not only donate donate money, but donate even your time, or just enjoy a good event while you're, donating. I mean, there's so many things that people can do.
You can even own an investment property and give a week for free, off season, and put it on there. I mean, you're not doing anything.
Right on top, like, exactly. No, but that's exactly what it is. Like, you don't even think of certain things that people have that could be beneficial that someone might want to take.
Right.
And
resources.
And I didn't want to. I wasn't thinking to even say volunteer. Like, people like to volunteer in the center, and people like to volunteer at events. People like to do. We both know, like, someone special to us that runs a pickleball tournament at the Hamlin Comac for us. Like, it had a connection with disease.
Yeah, let's mention him. That's Eric Schachter.
Eric Schachter.
He deserves it because he's a big supporter.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's the best. And
Illuminate Bank.
Exactly. And he's someone that was touched by the disease in his own family and was like, how can I do something that's going to make me feel good?
Do you want to laugh? What? Tell Tori where his office is.
Oh, that's a good story. His office currently is Melanie's dad's old office.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
The same suite.
Same suite.
Like, he got a piece of my dad's mail. My dad passed away in 2002.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Oh, I just got chills.
He literally just moved there. When we were moving to Berkshire Hathaway, when we merged our company with Berkshire,
to this office,
Melanie and I went to that building. Mel stood in front of the door of the suite, crying, praying to her father, and we didn't know Eric was inside moving.
No way.
Day. Yeah. What a weird thing.
You're gonna make me cry. That is
the strangest thing.
Wow.
And Melanie was literally there. I was in the car, and she was praying and crying.
I was like, Dad,
talking to her father in front of Eric's door. And we find out like a week later that Eric.
He took a picture of the piece of mail that he got.
Unbelievable.
There's always connections. I'm like a very big believer. There's things that are meant to happen.
Crazy.
You're gonna.
So crazy.
That is a story, because I feel
it's crazy.
I have chills with that, because you guys are all good people trying to do the best you can in everything that you do. And for someone like me in an organization, nonprofit, it's so important that we have people that care. Because I think you had said that in your last podcast interview. Like, not everybody, unfortunately, is a good person. Not everyone cares. We do want to associate ourselves with people that do care and want to make a difference. And so you guys definitely and yourselves make a difference too.
We appreciate you. You're doing incredible work.
Thank you.
That's truly needed. And
Thank you.
you know what? We really need to get it. Everyone,
Yeah.
please support LIAD.
Yeah, please.
However
Everybody
you
needs
can,
it.
whether it's financially or your time or just spreading the word.
Listen, you have an old pocketbook that's beautiful. Donate it. Let them raffle it off. You have a beautiful dress, a Chanel suit, whatever it is.
Hey,
just
and Mel will
donate it.
show up if you want. You want her at your event? She'll show up.
Seriously, and I'll tweak. I could tweak your wardrobe and pull out
Yeah.
stuff. No, I'm not even kidding.
I
Because
love that.
you don't know.
Yes.
People don't understand that what they have is precious. Listen, I don't want to sound like a goofball.
Nope.
I went and I had my lower abdominal scan, like I always have. Every other year, I have to get it done.
Yeah.
I have a spot on my pancreas that they want. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But I'm going and I'm like very emotional. And the woman that was in there that was helping me was so nice. And she was wearing these sparkly boots. And I go, oh my God, you're so cute. And she was like, oh, you know, I had this happen to me and my ex-husband, he was this and so this. And we were home, da, 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 da.
Oh my
And I
goodness.
go, I have these black sparkle Uggs that I don't wear. I'm not
them-
kidding you. I said, what's
them
your
to her?
shoe size? She goes, I'm a 7.5. I said, that's what they are. Would you like them? She goes, really? I dropped them off.
Oh God! See, but I mean,
Like-
because you're paying attention to you
Like,
pay
how do you
attention
not?
to others. Well, there's a lot of people that wouldn't. They just.
They don't
I
care.
think life. I think when you just look at life under a different lens, it's another story. So I think that exactly you just happened to notice that, and you connected the pieces of how can I help this person.
How can I make her day brighter?
Yeah,
Because
you
she
did.
made mine
and I'm sure you
brighter.
did. And I'm sure every time that she wears it, it's like, wow,
She's
this-
going to
this-
always think and say, you know what? Someone gave a crap about me
Right,
for
and that's
one
not
day.
because it's because you wanted her to feel that way. It wasn't because I'm like, oh yeah, I want to feel like I'm a better person for doing it. You wanted
I
to-
want her real estate business.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm gonna bring you the Uggs and let me see your house. Whatever. No, but even if it did happen, it could be like she's like, listen, I want to use that person because she's just like lovely person. But it's just important. People forget sometimes they have to
Yeah.
slow down
Yeah.
and really like take in and really understand what's happening
Be
around them.
kind to each other.
Yeah,
Be
to.
kind.
My
Be
mom
kind.
always said, if you think something nice, say it nice. We went on a cruise and there was this beautiful woman and she cleaned the rooms, and every day I would pass not our room but like the
Yeah.
rooms in front of us,
Yeah.
and she'd always look down and she was so beautiful. And finally on the last day as we were leaving, she was in one of the rooms and I went in and I said, I have to tell you, every time I pass you, I think of how beautiful you are, and you always look down. I said, you should smile. Like,
Oh my
you're
goodness.
so beautiful, and it radiates
And she was
from
like,
you.
"Oh,
Even
thank
looking
you."
down,
She was so happy.
I could see it. And she was like, oh my God, thank you so much. But I couldn't leave the ship
But she's right.
without.
People would just walk by.
Well, right.
They're heading to their breakfast to get their drink, their
Right.
margarita.
She noticed
totally
someone had-
ignored her like she didn't even exist. But Mel took the time to.
Love that.
I can't help it. It's like,
Yeah, but it's like you say, when it's just in you and that's the personality you have, it's just it's important and I love that. I think that's an amazing attribute that you have, and I wish others did too.
Listen,
Yeah.
it's obviously in you.
it's in you.
you.
You're
It's
doing
definitely
great
in
work.
you.
Thank you.
You
Thank
wouldn't be doing what you do every day.
No,
Yeah.
thank
You
you
wouldn't.
so much.
You're
Thank
welcome. No,
you,
thank you
yeah.
for having me.
Thanks for being here.
And
We'll-
thank you so
we'll
much
put all
for being
LIAD's
here.
information
Yes,
in the
yes.
description. So guys, remember, please
Thank
support
you.
them.
Remember, in any way you can, time, money, goods, vacation, anything you can. You're doing such a good deed for human beings that are suffering, and you know what? It's one of those things. It could come up on you any second,
I was
and
just gonna say
and
that.
you're gonna be like, oh my God. I mean,
Yeah.
it's freaking awful. It really is.
Yeah.
So
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
joining
thank you,
us.
guys.
another fabulous Long Islander.
That's right. Remember to like and subscribe. That's
Yes.
what keeps us bringing you all this great content and amazing guests that we have here in the island.
Yes, thank you so much. So Tori Cohen, Executive Director of LIAD, Long Island Alzheimer's and Dementia Center in Westbury. So thank you guys. We'll see
Thanks,
you soon.
everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.